Good evening. Welcome to the City of Calabasas Communications and Technology Commission meeting. Like to December 17th, 2024. I'd like to start with roll call. Let's see, Commissioner Brockman. Commissioner Weber.
Here.
Commissioner Natar.
Here.
And our student, Ella.
Ella.
Okay.
Welcome, Ella. This is her first seat at the chair. Or chair at the, well, you know what I mean.
And also we've got Arvin.
Sir.
Okay. Let's start first with the Pledge of Allegiance. Ella, would you like to lead us?
Yeah, I'd love to. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, so now we want to look at approval of the agenda. Has everyone had a chance to look at it?
Yeah, there's one, Arvin, there's one little, the only thing that I'm questioning is under presentation, there's a revised set of the agenda here that hasn't reflected the correction to the fact that it was CPE, not the CPHA. This,
TPE.
yeah, I know.
Okay.
But there was another set here tonight on the dais, and it was the old front page. I don't know why, but that's okay. Just wanted to,
Got it.
Okay, with that one correction, is there anything else we need to do to so we can approve the agenda? Okay, anyone like to make a motion?
so moved.
Any second? All right, let's have a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, it carries. Now I'd like to move to approval of the minutes from June 18th. I'll give everyone a couple of minutes to take a look at it and see if there's any corrections or anything that needs to be reclarified.
Well, with Yadira not here, I'll mention it.
Yes.
There's always room for a little humor. Okay? Okay, then I'll speak a little louder. On page 2 of the minutes, at the top paragraph, there's one little error. It's speaking to Michael Russo, and the last line says, and they thanked Michael for her service. A small goof, okay?
Yes, I did.
Okay, can we show the correction reflected? Any other corrections to be made? Okay, is nothing else? Is there anybody that would like to make a motion to approve with that one correction?
Second?
Okay, take a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, let's move on to announcements and introductions. Any new announcements or introductions tonight?
think so. Nobody from the public?
Okay, we'll move on then. Any oral communications or public comment? Are there any calls in queue? Okay, let's move on again. On presentations, so we have a CPE and AT&T tower discussion. Arvin, are you ready?
I believe it's CPE. Okay.
Calabasas?
Calabasas Park Estates.
Yes, I believe Commissioner Kartik, you were at the meeting and you
Yeah.
can give us a little update. Thank you.
So on the 19th of November, Carrie and myself, along with Scott and Lisa from CPE, so we had the two board members from CPE, Calabasas Park Estates, as well as the HOA manager, Lisa. We had a meeting where we discussed the previously kind of previous topic of AT&T cell tower on the water tower just above CPE. The main issue was that the city requested an easement from CPE in order for AT&T to access that water tower and place a cell tower there. And that was, I believe that was several years ago, or at least 2 years ago, and they hit an impasse. And as a result, that was kind of tabled. We attempted to resurrect this by, I'm a resident within CPE, a homeowner, so I actually brought it up to their board. We, as a result, had a meeting on November 19th, and fortunately, it sounded quite, I don't want to say optimistic, but we're making some progress. There were two issues which I think that the board members from CPE kind of brought up. One was some kind of compensation to the HOA for the easement. Chair Melcher had mentioned that with there's a water tower above the ridge where he lives in his HOA, and I can't recall which carrier has a tower there. I want to say it was previously Pac Bell, and it's been kind of grandfathered into perhaps T-Mobile or Verizon. But they have a monthly, payment to that HOA, or an annual payment to that HOA, which is approximately 20 years old. But it seemed like that number was agreeable to the HOA board of directors at CPE, and so we were going to look into that to see if first of all, if AT&T is still interested, because this is a several year old plan, and secondly, if that kind of level of compensation is still on the table. The other concern they had was that if we're granting this easement to AT&T, is that at the expense of other carriers, whether it be Verizon or T-Mobile or Sprint or whoever it may be. So I believe they'd talked to Scott about this, and we were going to reach out to all the other carriers to see if anyone else would be interested in also putting a tower on this particular water tower. So in a matter of fairness, just to kind of level the playing field, if you will. So that's kind of where we stood. So I think we're waiting on some of our city officials to see if we can kind of if we receive any answers from them, if AT&T is still interested, for one, level of compensation to the HOA, and third, if any other carriers would be interested in also piggybacking and putting a tower on that water tower in question.
Well, thank you. That's actually encouraging.
Yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic. It actually, I think we left that meeting, feeling pretty good. That at least there was some progress being made, and I forgot his name, but the gentleman, he's a retired LA County Fire Chief, was also a part of this discussion, and he stated the importance, particularly with the recent wildfires, winds today, and just the overall, risk of where we live, coupled with the fact that a lot of these, AT&T in particular, are kind of getting rid of landlines, and we need a more robust, cellular network kind of throughout the city.
California turned down,
Candace, your microphone, please.
I thought, I read that California turned down AT&T's request to stop landline.
I believe they did, but just the fact that it was kind of on the horizon
Yeah.
makes me nervous in the sense that if not now, then at some point that could happen.
Yeah, the copper wiring.
And so I think it's in the city's best interest to fortify our, our wireless capabilities for these emergencies, for the instances where internet goes down, whatever it may be.
Yeah. I'm kind of worried about that myself, because my landline's very reliable. When
Yeah.
electricity's out, it's working.
Agreed, yeah, and we've had a period, maybe 2 years ago now, where internet and cellular was down for much of the
Yeah,
city.
sometimes some of the carriers don't work at my house, for example.
Yeah. But I think we're just waiting for some questions to be answered, or at least some communication with the carriers themselves. And I think where we left off was if the other carriers kind of decline to get involved and AT&T is still on the table, hopefully we can move forward with that.
Just question, who, I would think if Scott was present at the meeting, it would behoove us just to double check with Scott if there's been any change in the circumstances regarding that, change in status of the use of the tower. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else have any questions regarding that?
I do. If AT&T doesn't want to give compensation, I know how the board feels from CPE, but what does the neighborhood feel about having the additional capabilities?
Well, I think that, that's a difficult question, because in order to get full engagement from the neighborhood is a challenge, for many neighborhoods, but particularly when you have, several hundred homes. And the number of people that even vote in board of director elections, is not, the percentage of homes is not very high. They have many times, frequently, where they have to solicit, ballots multiple times.
They don't have a neighborhood watch to send out information or something?
We do. We have like a WhatsApp group, and, obviously, we can knock on doors and whatnot, but even then, the level of engagement is, not the highest, I would say. And so it would, even if I could get a number of people to agree, I don't know that, it would be enough to move the needle in terms of the board.
Yeah,
Kartik,
hear you.
oh, excuse me, Candace, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, excuse me.
How many residents are there in the sphere of this community, do you know?
So there's two sets of gates, but behind those sets of gates, there's actually two different HOAs. So there's one called Palatina, which are some smaller homes, which we don't really have much communication with them, at least in terms of, that's a separate HOA. Now, within ours, which is CPE, there are probably about 250 homes, 300 homes. And, for the most part, maybe when we have a board of director election, I don't even know if you're going to get 30 or 40% of the ballots in. It's just, there is a level of disengagement which is just hard to break. I don't know if it's in all HOAs, but certainly in this one. There is a group of us that, are concerned about security or the community and things, and we have like an informal WhatsApp group, but that's not an official channel. We have lines of communication, obviously, with the HOA management company, Ross Morgan, and that's good, but they don't necessarily speak for the residents, for the homeowners.
Hey, Kartak, do you know that if the water tower would actually provide line of sight to a majority of the homes in that area? Or
I think so. It would, the way it's perched on a hill that overlooks quite a bit of CPE, the golf course, and then, you know, it's a small valley, and so it actually captures part of the, you know, the community on the other side, Vista Point maybe, it's on the other side of the
Yeah.
golf course, which is kind of, you know, it's almost like a valley, so you have quite a few homes that it would capture. Now, during this meeting, there was a discussion about the hilltop, which separates CPE from the Oaks, because apparently the Oaks also has cell phone issues, or, you know, signal issues. And, you know, we haven't necessarily engaged with their HOA, but one thought was, well, instead of putting a tower on that, a cell site on that water tower, what if we put it on the hill that separates CPE from the Oaks? Would we capture more homes? The problem is that, you know, that would be a freestanding cell tower. And then the infrastructure would need to be built to that tower. You know, I think right now they have some hiking trails, but there's no paved road. So there's no access point for a maintenance truck to get there. And I don't know if they have to string wire, bury wire, what it might be. That seems like it would probably be more expensive for a carrier. So we kind of threw around the idea, but it never really gained traction. So I think the water tower would be good in the sense that it would capture quite a few homes.
Fantastic. Thank you.
And possibly even Calabasas Hills, which is the community right next to Bay Laurel, you know, Elementary School, because that water tower basically sits on a hill that divides CPE from Calabasas Hills. So depending on how that tower is oriented, you potentially could even capture that area too and capture the school, which would be great.
Okay.
Thank you, Kartik.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Any other questions regarding the CPE AT&T tower? Or are we ready to move on? Okay. So go on to the monthly reports. Start with the franchise fee report. Arvin?
Okay, thank you. Yes, all the cable franchises, fees for the first, second, third, and fourth quarter, or not the fourth yet, the first, second, and third, yeah, not yet, are paid. And as you guys all know, this is an informational item, and it doesn't require any motion from you. So we're up to date on that.
Thank you. And any utility complaints? Or
So good news, no, we have not had any cable complaints in this past few months.
okay. And the cable company report.
Unfortunately, none of them are here again, and there is nothing to report without them.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Let's move on to the subcommittee reports. Start with the wireless subcommittee.
Carrie is not here. We have not had any new information to discuss tonight.
Okay. And then the programming subcommittee.
I had a few things to talk about, but regarding the programming, we worked on, Arvin and I, a big thank you to Arvin. We worked on a video for my club that I am a co-founder of, which we had posted. I think we were going to show it, right? Or
We could do that now, or you want to wait for your student
we
report?
could wait till the
Okay,
student
sounds
report.
good.
But regarding CTV programming, that's all. Everything new. Everything else I can cover in my student report.
Okay. Thank you. And the broadband subcommittee, there is nothing new to report. And the last community engagement subcommittee.
I hadn't planned on anything. We were assigned to this, and I haven't had a chance to talk to Richard Sherman, who was a past member of our commission, since he initiated that as to exactly what it is he wanted. I had a brief discussion with him yesterday on the phone, but he couldn't, for various reasons, get into it very much. But I have one subject to bring up, which is sort of tangentially related to this. He basically just wanted to use this commission, from what he said to me, to find ways in which to improve the lines of communication between the city and any community members in areas of that in general. It was very vague. So I want to see if I can spend a little more time with him and see if we can pin it down a little more. I have one point to raise, though, that is, as I said, somewhat tangentially related to this, particularly relevant as to the kind of circumstances we're dealing with tonight and tomorrow. I have found it a little difficult to be able to deal with the information we get from SCE about where our zones are and what they cover. And I would like to recommend that we explore a way in which to take what that information is that we can get and put it up on the tube and put it up in an interesting way. It's certainly relevant, and certainly now. Because there are quite a few sectors that they deal with the different numbers, and I just think it would be helpful to have that available to the residents.
I'd like to address that as well. Today I got something from the city that says maybe we're going to have power outages again. Nowhere else is that information. I went to SCE, I put in my address, nothing. There's nothing planned. But yet I'm getting stuff from the city saying something's planned. It's very confusing. I spent like an hour the other day going back and forth between all the sources.
Well, you know, you can.
You know, I know my circuit number, I know my evacuation number, I know all that stuff. But when you go to SCE and put in your address in the outage portion, there's nothing there like what's coming from the city. I think it's very confusing to everybody.
Well, I think it's just a matter of trying to see if there's a way to sort of coordinate the information and have it relevant. I know, I see the city has been doing a pretty good job at just giving us alerts, and I think that's terrific. But providing the residents with the ammunition in a little more clearer fashion, I think might be helpful.
Is there a way to actually put a map on the Calabasas website of the
That's what I was-
SCE zones?
Yes, that's a very good question, and we do have one on the front page.
Oh, there is,
When you
okay.
click on it, it goes to the maps of the zone names, and those are not something the city created, it's
Yeah.
the
That's-
SCE.
okay.
SCE itself, so as long as you know which zone you are and what circuit number you are, you could always look up SCE's maps, and they'll tell you if you are going to be out. So the good news is if you don't see your address in there, most likely is they're not shutting it down. What the city tries to coordinate is we get the alert that, hey, it's going to be high winds, there is a potential of power outages, and we disseminate that information. Not specifically to any section or circuit yet, but we want you to be aware, have your equipment ready, have your emergency stuff ready, because there is a chance if there's high winds and God forbid a fire that comes close to us, then they will shut down your power just for safety reasons. So if you can't find your address and nothing shows in your zone, then that means you obviously have power, I hope.
Do we know what the qualification is? How high are, I mean, we're getting these notices when the winds are 5 miles an hour. So is there something that says,
But
if we get to this many miles an hour?
the problem is, you know what the wind's like. They can change on a moment's notice. So it's a little hard to depend upon a specific number, because it can always pick up and you could be in
Well,
trouble.
I don't think we're going to have an outage when it's 5 miles an hour.
Well, I know on Twitter/X, they have the map there too, and that's sometimes disseminated by even the Lost Hills Sheriff's Department too. And they have the circuits, and I agree, they're very confusing, you know, Horn Toad, for example, and Parkmore. I've looked at these, and I think the only one that makes sense is Calabasas, which is basically the Commons and I think maybe Westridge or something. But the point is that sometimes helps. They do send it out on X, but to Arvin's point, I think I've gotten a blast text about the high winds, and then even from AT&T, who's my carrier, that there's a chance for a public safety power shutoff, and so then they kind of talk to you, or they kind of warn you about that, and they'll try to keep cell coverage as best as they can. So I think part of it is that there is some uncertainty with the winds and the weather and stuff, so they're just kind of warning and telling you to be prepared. But SCE and certainly the sheriff on X, they will kind of send the maps during these events and tell you what your circuit is. So in the event there is a power outage, you're somewhat aware of it based on your circuit.
Well, I keep getting notices for horn toad. I'm not on horn toad. I'm on Rhoda.
I don't think it's specific enough.
No, it
For-
says,
No, meaning when they warn you specifically, I don't know that they know your phone number is associated with a specific circuit. I don't think it's that tailored just yet. Correct me if I'm wrong, Arvin.
No, you're right.
I think they'll just send it as a blast, and even if it doesn't affect you, they'll tell you these circuits are the ones being turned off, even if you're not on that circuit at all.
well, then why have any name on it at all? Because
Well-
after I looked into it, I thought, that's not my circuit, but they keep, they don't send me anything from any other circuit, just horn toad.
Yeah, I mean, that might be the one that is probably turned off the most. By and large, just what I've noticed is if you have overhead lines, you're going to get turned off. So if you have buried lines, you should be okay. Now, should is the operative word, but
We
yeah.
have buried lines
Yeah.
except for at our entrance. At our entrance, there's a row of telephone poles, but it's just along the entrance.
Yeah, so
The
then
whole
you,
rest of the neighborhood,
so you may be okay for the most part,
so far we have been, but
Yeah, the Mulholland corridor and Old Calabasas, that's the area that's and then also the other areas, kind of along Las Virgenes. Those are the areas which I think are the most susceptible to power outages in these wind events.
yeah, I'm on the other side of the hill by Las Virgenes.
Yeah, like by, I don't remember the
The
name of it.
landfill.
Yeah,
We're right below
by
the
the apartment
landfill.
homes, that area, I think
No,
they're.
we're not in the apartment home.
No, but that area, I think some of those areas are also a little bit more susceptible.
Yeah.
They have power lines there.
I guess what we're basically saying is there's no way to clear this up.
Well, that's why I'm saying I think it's
I
a
mean,
subject
It seems
that,
like, oh, well.
for the
you know,
sake
it's
of clarity.
confusing.
and, if God forbid an emergency erupts, people are not going to be starting to think logically about the sequencing of the name of the sector,
Yeah.
it's like, do I stay or do I go?
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking there might be a way to try and, in your creative juices, find a way to put a program together on how to give visual clarity and identification that would be memorable to the residents.
We can hope.
All right, well, thank you, everyone. We'd like to move over to the director's report now. Arvin, on the city smartphone app usage?
Sure, thank you again. In your packet, we have our report on our Granicus usage and our YouTube views, all the numbers of most of our hits and views and what's been getting the most. Still, one of the top ones is our every 15 minutes, which was the drinking and driving campaign with the schools. It's a nationwide thing, so people still find our episode and watch that. In addition to some of our PSAs, our teen shows, yoga is still doing great with the seniors, so we're looking into maybe doing a few more of those as well. And again, if you have any questions, all the information on the numbers and our city council replays and planning commission gets a lot of views as well. And CTC is up there for summertime. We had a lot of views on that one too. So.
Okay, thank you so much. I'd like to move over to the student commission report.
Great.
Ella?
Hi. So I have a few things that I'd like to report on. Piggybacking on what I said earlier, Arvin and I worked on a video for my club that I'm the co-president and co-founder of. It was great. It was a great experience, and I think we're going to show it, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
We could do that. Let me make sure you all are on click share, Carlo. I I saying this? No, we're not. Nope. You guys, nobody sees that? No. All right, well, maybe we're having some issues here.
No worries if we can't see it.
Okay, so here is our YouTube channel.
Here we go.
If I can get the mouse to move, here we go. So actually we're live right now, so we don't need to see that. Here's some of our shows. Before we get into our bundle of care, which is this episode right here, I have a overall year in review, this video right here. If I could go over some of our shows, since the last time we met in June, we did quite a few episodes of Pumpkin Festival, 4th of July. All of our parks are opened. And this is a long program which covers the whole entire year, thanks to Greg Barraza, Jason Meir, Carla Gorgian. It's an 18-minute program. I'm not going to show this to you guys, but, it goes through everything we've done pretty much this whole year. The community center opening. Here's the ribbon cutting for that. Again, this is since the last time we saw you. All the way up to Memorial Day, we did something in Veterans Garden. We did a Veterans Day event, Earth Day, 4th of July, here it is. Senior Center had its 8th anniversary. That's in here as well. The the De Anza Park here had an opening. We redid their floor, and the sports court is now open as well. So if you have a chance, please go ahead and take a look at this program. It's got a lot of fun events, public safety event. The tennis and swim center pool got rebuilt and opened up. Here it is. Another program the Environmental Commission is doing is collecting bags and recycling trash bags to make benches for the schools. And here's another students from Calabasas High School. Arbor Day, we did tree planting at De Anza Park. We have hikes over at the Las Virgenes Creek that the Public Works Department does. We did a 5K. This is called the Calabasas Classic. It's back again. We used to have this a long time ago, and now in coordination with the Cordasco Something Yellow Foundation, we covered, let's see, what else we got? We have Pumpkin Festival, of course. Here's a couple of snippets of course, each one of these had a full show and full program standalone episode as well, but this is a highlight reel that I wanted to share with you. And here's at the end of Las Virgenes when they redid the entire street. It's a green street project where they capture storm drain water, and instead of just running it into the stream, they clear it up, and here was a ribbon cutting of that. So, and we'll keep going. There's still the playground at Brandon's Village at Gates Canyon Park that got its ribbon cutting opening right here. And lastly, we did a Veterans Day event here out back in City Hall. So just wanted you to see that highlight reel. Now I'd like to go back to our channel again. And since I have your attention, here's our website, our front page, which is cityofcalabasas.com. And first and foremost right on there is click here for more info. It's to know your own circuit. So if you do come across this, it has you could click on this and it enlarges it. And it has the names of all the sections where you live. If you live in the west side, Saratoga, or anywhere around here, City Hall. So as long as you know your circuit, it helps you know which one when the announcement comes in. Also, currently on our front page, whenever we do have a red flag event, it's probably one of the first news items up here, where if you click on that, we try to do updates when we get them from the sheriff or from the fire department as well. And here are all the weather, which way the wind is going. Here's SCE's own website, where they tell you where the PSPs, the public safety power shutoffs. This is helpful. And then, of course, this is another evacuation map if you ever need to know that. So this is always going to be linked from the front page that you could look at all these outside entities and get information about evacuations or any other thing. All right, thank you for that. Moving on to bundles of care. This one we will play its entirety. It's a 2-minute video, and here we go. Bundles
Our
of
club
care.
is called Bundles of Care. We basically make hygiene packages and care packs for homeless people, and we donate them to homeless shelters across our community.
We reach out to different homeless shelters across Los Angeles and in the Calabasas area and find out what they need and how we can help, and from there we seek for donations.
We hold fundraisers through our community, our family, and our friends where they donate and where we can order the products we need from online, and then we use that money and those products to build our hygiene kits, which we donate.
At our meetings, we put together our care packages from all of our donations that we collect, and then at our meetings, we package them with cards, and then Anisha and I will drive out to the homeless shelter and meet and give it to them.
Mainly in our club meetings, it's only Calabasas high school students, but we've had people wanting to work with us or even just shelters reaching out to us, asking for help. So anyone can help us, anyone can donate. So we try to make sure that we're inclusive for everyone.
Anyone is welcome to come, even if you're not a part of the club and you want to help, you can come help.
Our main form of communication for people that don't go to our school is through our Instagram. It's called chs.bundlesofcare. We have all of our information there, like our links to donate and our upcoming drives.
It's such a good feeling because it really feels like you are making a difference, and that's our main goal with our club, is to have a positive impact on our community and our city, and it feels so good to help people out when they're in need of it. Thank you. It turned out really great, so thank you, Arvin. I think it's really great to have that kind of connection between the clubs and the city. Videos like this are really informative. So I've been talking to other clubs from the high school. One club that I wanted to work with is called Harmonies for Humanity, and they also raise money for homeless shelters for the Midnight Mission specifically. They just had a fundraising event at Sagebrush Cantina, and they raised $2,000. So I think I'm going to reach out to them, and we can work out to make a video for the city as well. Next, I found the information of the broadcasting teacher. His name is Mr. Bergstrom, and he's new this year. So I'm going to email him, and we'll discuss how we can connect the broadcasting class at Calabasas to the city and making videos with the city. And to add on to that, I can also reach out to him about sports videos for the last season sports. Fall was tennis and golf, and then winter upcoming is soccer and basketball. So I think if I reach out to him, we can work together, and I can collect some videos from all the sports games, because the students in the broadcasting class record the sports games. So yeah, that's all I have to report.
Thank you, Ella. In fact, not just for the video and the information, but for the actual work that you do. That's really amazing.
Thank you.
It's terrific.
Thank you so
Keep it up.
much. Thank
That's the
you.
best student report we've had.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Ella.
Thank you.
And Arvin, thank you, and for all that information that you just presented. I think that's great stuff. That's nice to see on the webpage, and it was more than I even remembered being there. So I learned something new tonight. Thank you. All right, is there anything else? Any other comments on the student commissioner report?
No, that's all I have to report. Thank
Oh,
you.
All right, let's move on to future agenda items. Anything new?
Nothing about anything.
I think let's follow up with Scott about any communication with the other
Yeah.
cell carriers.
Correct.
And then see if we've made any progress. I know it's kind of holiday season, so we may not hear anything necessarily that quickly, but hopefully in the next maybe 3 months.
Yes, got that.
I'm also going to reach out to the broadcasting teacher, like I mentioned, and I'll report back what he thinks about working with us and connecting the students to the committee in the city.
I think it's amazing. Yeah, if you get the kids and their sports on here, that'll,
Yeah, it'd be great.
yeah, if people love to watch what's going on with the community, especially if
Yeah.
they're involved.
Yeah,
That
exactly.
generates some
You know,
interest.
anything that we can come up with that is not only informative and entertaining, but can bring a sense of unity together within the city, the different communities feeling a sense of connection.
Yeah,
It's a way of keeping our identification as a city alive.
yeah, I agree. And I hope to bring like that sort of student connection from the high school, not just Calabasas, but other other high schools, and we'll see how that goes.
All right, thank you. Okay, I guess the next thing is, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved?
And do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, let's take a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that passes unanimously. And this will conclude the communications and, oh, okay. The next meeting will be held on, that's a good, there you go, January 21st, 2025 at 6 p.m. And that should conclude the meeting here tonight. And thank you all very much.